My name is Kaver, Senior War Analyst of the Threxian Dominion. Also, according to my supervisor, the only officer who reads the mission reports instead of celebrating before the battle even begins. So naturally, when the Dominion Council announced humanity's destruction, everyone else applauded. I did not, because I had read the file, and the file was strange. Very strange. The human species looked unimpressive on paper. No claws, no armor, no plasma organs, no telepathic networks. Their average height was smaller than most galactic soldiers. Their bones broke easily. Their skin tore easily. Frankly, they looked like a species evolution accidentally forgot to finish. Counselor Bravix laughed during the briefing. Look at them. They need artificial shells called clothing just to survive weather. Another counselor snorted. They even poison themselves for entertainment. Something called coffee. The war chamber erupted with laughter. I raised a claw. Permission to speak. Bravix rolled 3 of his eyes. Yes, Kaver. Enlighten us with your paranoia. I activated the holo display. Humans running through explosions. Humans repairing machines while under fire. Humans laughing during dangerous missions. The room went quiet. I pointed at the screen. They are fragile, yes, but they compensate with something rare. Counselor Bravix waved dismissively. Tools? Many species use tools. I shook my head. No, not tools. I zoomed into another recording. A human soldier dragging 3 injured teammates through gunfire. Another clip. A pilot ramming their damaged ship into an enemy fleet. Another. 2 humans arguing while building a weapon bigger than their own vehicle. Bravix frowned. What exactly is your point? I paused. They are stubborn. The room went silent. Then laughter exploded. Counselor Yetrin nearly fell from his seat. Stubborn? That is your terrifying human trait. Yes, I replied calmly. Because stubborn species do not surrender. They improvise. They adapt. And worst of all, they take losing personally. But the council had already decided. Humanity would be erased. To prove our superiority, they sent the Dominion's strongest war commander, General Korvax, a massive titan of a being, 2.5 meters tall, muscles layered over armored bone plates. His combat record included 30 conquered civilizations. Korvax smiled when the mission was assigned. I will return within 3 rotations. Someone shouted from the chamber. Bring us souvenirs. Another voice yelled. Maybe a pet human. More laughter. Korvax left with the largest strike fleet we had launched in centuries. 700 warships. 12 million soldiers. Enough firepower to erase a star system. Even I began wondering if I had overestimated humanity. Perhaps the council was correct. Perhaps humans were just loud little mammals who got lucky surviving their primitive world. 3 days later, the first message arrived. It was not from Korvax. It was from a battlefield drone. The recording started with static, then screaming. Threxian soldiers were running. From humans. I leaned closer to the screen. A human vehicle roared across the battlefield. Something primitive with spinning wheels and metal plates welded together in ways that offended every engineering law. Humans were standing on top of it. One of them yelled, "Drive faster." Another shouted, "I am trying." The steering fell off. Explosions followed. Then the drone feed cut. Silence filled the analysis chamber. Counselor Bravix finally spoke. An isolated skirmish. Yes, of course. A single battle meant nothing. Then the second message arrived. This one came from a destroyed Dominion cruiser. The audio log of Captain Silex. His voice sounded confused. We boarded the human ship. It appeared disabled. A pause. Then shouting in the background. They tricked us. The ship was bait. Gunfire erupted in the recording. Human voices echoed through the corridors. One human yelled, "Who brought the flamethrower?" Another voice answered proudly, "I did." Captain Silex shouted in panic. "They're setting the hallway on fire. Why would they burn their own ship?" The recording ended with distant human laughter. The council chamber had gone very quiet. Bravix cleared his throat. Still, minor engagements. But his voice sounded less confident. Then came the third message. This one finally came from General Korvax himself. His armor was damaged, his breathing heavy. The once proud war commander looked tired. Caver, if you're seeing this report. He paused. A loud explosion shook the room behind him. They do not fight like other species. Another explosion. Korvax looked off-screen and shouted. Why are they charging? They have no cover. Human voices could be heard yelling. Leroy, stop running ahead. Another human screamed back. Too late. Korvax looked back at the camera. They keep attacking even when victory is impossible. A missile flew past the window behind him. They build weapons during the battle. Another explosion. And they appear to enjoy this. He stared into the camera. Caver, you were correct. His voice lowered. They are stubborn. Then the transmission cut. The council chamber was silent. For exactly 12 seconds. Then Counselor Bravix slammed his claws on the table. Send the second fleet. I slowly stood. They already sent the strongest fleet. Bravix glared. So, I sighed, because I had just noticed something disturbing in the battle reports. Something the council had completely ignored. Every single battle recording contained the same human behavior. They were smiling, even when surrounded, even when injured, even when their equipment failed. Humans kept smiling. And when humans smile during war, something very bad usually happens next. I turned back to the council. General Korvax may not return. Bravix scoffed. He is the strongest warrior in the Dominion. I looked at the final frozen frame from Korvax's recording. A human standing behind him, holding something that looked suspiciously like a metal pipe. The human was grinning. Widely. Very widely. I sighed again. Yes. But humans do not fight fair. The Dominion Council did not like my warning. In fact, Counselor Bravix looked personally offended by it. Humans do not fight fair, he repeated slowly. I nodded. Yes. Bravix leaned back in his throne and folded his claws. This is war, Caver. There are no rules. I tilted my head. Humans disagree. The council stared at me. Counselor Yetrin spoke first. What does that even mean? I tapped the console and played another recovered recording. A Dominion tank squad was advancing through a ruined human city. Massive walkers. Plasma cannons ready. Nothing could survive that much firepower. Then, the street exploded. Not with a missile. With the road itself. A hidden human device turned the entire street into a crater. One walker flipped. Another lost both legs. The third simply collapsed. Human voices echoed from the buildings. One voice yelled, "Did it work?" Another shouted, "I think so. The tank is upside down." Then someone said proudly, "Told you burying explosives in the sewer would work." Counselor Bravix frowned. "Improvised traps. Primitive." I nodded again. "Yes, but effective." More reports arrived over the next hour. None of them were comforting. One fleet was destroyed by human ships that pretended to be cargo vessels. Another fleet chased a group of human fighters straight into an asteroid belt, where the asteroid started firing missiles. One commander reported something particularly confusing. "We captured a human outpost. They left food behind. My soldiers began eating. 10 minutes later, the entire unit was unconscious." Counselor Yetrin blinked. "They poisoned their own food?" I sighed. "No." I zoomed into the human packaging label. "Sleep medication." Silence filled the room. Then came the report we had all been waiting for. General Korvax's final transmission. Not a battle recording. A prisoner recording. Korvax sat in a metal chair. His armor was gone. His massive frame now wrapped in something that looked suspiciously like a human blanket. Across from him sat 3 humans. One woman with short dark hair. One older man with a beard. And a younger human who kept eating something crunchy. The woman spoke calmly. Recording started. Prisoner interview. Korvax glared at them. "You will regret capturing me." The younger human looked at the snack in his hand. "Do you want some chips?" Korvax blinked. "What?" The human shook the bag. "Chips. Salted." Korvax looked confused. "I am your enemy." The older human nodded. "Yeah." Silence. Then the younger human shrugged. "Still hungry, though." He kept eating. "Crunch. Crunch." The woman continued. "General Korvax, why did your people attack Earth?" Korvax lifted his head proudly. "Because humans are weak. The three humans looked at each other. Then the older one laughed. Actually laughed. Korvac snarled. You find this amusing? The man wiped his eyes. Oh, you are serious. He leaned forward. General, humans know we are weak. Korvac froze. The woman nodded. Yeah, we figured that out a few thousand years ago. The younger human added between bites. That is why we cheat. Korvac stared at them. You admit dishonor? The woman shrugged. We call it strategy. Korvac looked furious. Warriors fight with strength. The old man leaned back. Sure. Then he pointed at the recording drone. But strength loses when the other side is creative. Korvac opened his mouth, then stopped, because distant explosions could suddenly be heard outside. Korvac frowned. What is happening? The younger human smiled. Oh, crunch. Your rescue fleet arrived. Korvac stood up instantly. My army. The three humans did not look worried. In fact, the woman sighed. That was fast. The old man looked at the younger human. You told them about the minefield, right? The human froze mid-bite. Oh, another explosion shook the room. Korvac slowly turned toward the window. Bright flashes lit the sky. Human missiles, Dominion ships, debris falling through the atmosphere. Korvac whispered, You lured them here. The woman nodded. Yeah. Korvac stared at her in disbelief. You captured me to bait my fleet. The old man smiled. Pretty much. More explosions. Korvac slowly sat back down. The younger human held out the chip bag again. You sure you do not want some? The recording ended there. Back in the Dominion Council chamber, no one spoke. Not for a long time. Finally, Counselor Breivik whispered something. How many fleets have we lost? I checked the reports. 5. Yetrin's voice trembled. Our strongest general, captured. I nodded. Yes. Breivik slowly turned toward me. How is this possible? I thought for a moment. Then I answered honestly. Because humans are not trying to win battles. The council stared. They are trying to win the war. Another transmission arrived. This one from Earth. A human broadcast signal. A man appeared on the screen wearing a simple uniform. He smiled politely. Greetings, Dominion Council. Breivik growled. Who are you? The humans saluted casually. Admiral Daniel Hayes. Earth Defense. Breivik hissed. You will release our general immediately. Hayes laughed softly. No. Silence. Then Hayes leaned closer to the camera. You sent your strongest warriors to crush humanity. He paused, and none of them returned. Breivik's claws trembled. You think this victory makes you powerful? Hayes shook his head. No. Then he smiled again. It makes us busy. The transmission ended. I slowly turned toward the council. They looked terrified, and for the first time since this war began, they finally understood the truth. Humans were fragile. Humans were small. Humans were absolutely ridiculous. But humans had one terrifying advantage no galactic empire had ever prepared for. They did not need to be the strongest species in the galaxy. They just needed to be the most stubborn. And unfortunately for the Dominion, humans were very, very stubborn. And that is how the galaxy learned a terrifying truth about humans. They may not be the strongest, but they're the most stubborn. If you enjoyed this story, like the video, subscribe, and comment what story you want next. See you in the next one.